The streets of Amsterdam erupted into a shocking scene of chaos and violence as fans of Israel's Maccabi Tel Aviv football club faced brutal attacks from pro-Palestinian rioters. What began as an intense Europa League match quickly turned into a nightmare, with Israeli supporters ambushed and assaulted in the Dutch capital. The scenes have sparked international outrage, and leaders around the world are demanding answers, but one group's silence has stirred even more controversy. As violence escalated, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer and his party have come under fire for their measured, almost restrained response to the incident. Critics are questioning whether Starmer's Labour has the conviction to denounce anti-Semitism on the global stage, fueling debates that have divided the UK political landscape. Now let's unpack the full story of this explosive event and why Starmer's Labour is facing backlash for its lukewarm stance. Like and subscribe for exclusive insights into this unfolding scandal, where shocking footage and political fallout intertwine in ways few could have predicted. The stakes in this story couldn't be higher as Labour's response, or lack thereof, draws fierce criticism from those demanding accountability in the face of rising global anti-Semitism. Amsterdam, a city renowned for its cultural openness and tolerance, became the unexpected centre of a violent showdown when pro-Palestinian demonstrators targeted Maccabi Tel Aviv football fans after their game against Ajax. But what should have been a night of celebration for football fans turned into a dark, harrowing ordeal as Israeli supporters were attacked across the city. With 5 supporters hospitalised and over 60 arrests made, the fallout from this attack has been swift and far-reaching, with Israel sending rescue planes to bring home fans. Leaders from Israel and the Netherlands have condemned the attack as a disturbing act of anti-Semitism, but while many called for swift action, Labour leader Keir Starmer's response has left the public cold, sparking anger and debate. Immediately after the match, Israeli fans found themselves under siege as groups of rioters reportedly actively sought them out for attacks. Dutch authorities confirmed that these were no random encounters. Organised groups of demonstrators were waiting outside Amsterdam's Johan Cruyff Arena, prepared to confront Israeli supporters as they exited. The scenes were brutal. Videos quickly circulated online, showing mobs shouting "Free Palestine" as they surrounded and assaulted lone Israeli fans. The violence spread rapidly throughout the city, with witnesses describing chaotic street battles, including images of terrified fans being led to safety by overwhelmed police forces. Eyewitnesses recount an atmosphere of horror. One Israeli supporter, speaking to Dutch media, shared that what was meant to be a joyous night felt like a war zone. People who had come to the city for leisure instead found themselves running through streets clouded by fear and hostility. In the wake of the attacks, the Dutch government and city officials released statements denouncing the violence as anti-Semitic and indefensible, with calls for accountability growing louder. Amsterdam's mayor, Femke Halsema, had imposed a ban on pro-Palestinian demonstrations near the stadium, fearing just this kind of conflict. However, the ban did little to prevent the night's descent into chaos. Israel responded immediately, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu deploying emergency rescue planes to Amsterdam. In a scathing statement, Netanyahu demanded that the Dutch government take firm action to prevent further violence against Israeli citizens. Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar also announced plans for an urgent diplomatic visit, calling this attack a blaring alarm for Europe and the world. Meanwhile, Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof echoed Israel's condemnation, stating that the attacks were completely unacceptable and vowing to bring the perpetrators to justice. Yet, in the midst of the intense reactions from Dutch and Israeli leaders, Labour's muted response has stirred controversy back in the UK. Sir Keir Starmer, often vocal about anti-Semitism within the Labour Party, issued only a brief statement that many felt lacked the urgency and condemnation seen in his usual rhetoric. His response has left British Jews and supporters of Israel questioning Labour's commitment to combating anti-Semitism globally. While many political figures from across the UK expressed outrage, Starmer's silence on the broader implications of the Amsterdam violence led to public outcry, with critics demanding a stronger stance from the Labour leader. Labour MPs were divided in their reactions. Some, eager to avoid international criticism, aligned with Starmer's cautious response, while others, particularly those who support Israel, voiced frustration. Labour's deputy leader Angela Rayner urged more decisive condemnation, recognising the seriousness of the attacks on Israeli citizens. But divisions within the party are visible, revealing the internal tensions Labour faces in aligning its domestic and international policies on Israel and anti-Semitism. Geert Wilders, the Dutch far-right leader known for his staunch support of Israel, lambasted what he called an anti-Semitic Jew hunt on Amsterdam streets. He urged Dutch authorities to arrest and deport the attackers, sparking fierce debate in the Netherlands and across Europe. Wilders' stark rhetoric highlights the broader European struggle to confront anti-Semitism within the context of the Israel-Palestine conflict. But while Wilders' reaction was predictable, Starmer's calculated response, or lack thereof, has raised eyebrows among British citizens who see it as emblematic of Labour's cautious stance on Israel. Some British media outlets have suggested that Starmer's hesitancy stems from internal Labour politics and the party's efforts to balance its public image amid rising tensions in the Middle East. Labour's history with anti-Semitism accusations under former leader Jeremy Corbyn has left Starmer's leadership under scrutiny. His reluctance to issue a stronger response in light of the Amsterdam attacks has reawakened doubts among his critics and supporters alike. Conservative MPs seized the opportunity to criticise Starmer, with some accusing Labour of failing the Jewish community. Meanwhile, calls for heightened security at Jewish institutions throughout Amsterdam have escalated in response to the attacks, with Dutch authorities promising additional police patrols and monitoring at synagogues and cultural sites. This increased security is vital for the city's Jewish community, which has deep roots in Amsterdam, dating back centuries. The recent attacks have left Amsterdam's Jewish population shaken, and Israel's emergency response team, deployed to assist Dutch authorities, is viewed as a stark reminder of the precarious position many Jewish communities face across Europe. To Israeli citizens, this coordinated assault represents a growing trend of unchecked hatred that they believe Europe must confront more decisively. As Israeli President Isaac Herzog remarked, the violence felt eerily reminiscent of historical pogroms, recalling a past many hoped would never repeat. Herzog emphasized that anti-Semitism left unaddressed could lead to wider unrest and division across Europe, and called on European leaders to act decisively. For Keir Starmer, the Amsterdam attacks have placed him in a uniquely challenging position. Balancing his image as a defender against anti-Semitism with Labour's diverse political base, his response, or lack thereof, may have far-reaching implications on his leadership. Starmer's previous attempts to rid the party of the anti-Semitism controversies that plagued Corbyn's tenure could face fresh challenges as Labour supporters and British Jews alike scrutinise his response. The incident also brings broader questions to light about Europe's approach to the Israel-Palestine conflict and its impact on public safety in cities worldwide. Amsterdam's struggle to maintain order amid these violent scenes has heightened fears that such incidents could spread to other European cities. As diplomatic discussions unfold, the message from Amsterdam is clear. International leaders must tackle the rise of violent anti-Semitism decisively, or risk losing public faith in their ability to protect their communities.